Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to each and everyone once again. The Women Entrepreneurs Development Council in is India's leading organization, integrating women entrepreneurs from manufacturing, service industry, banking, finance, infrastructure, realty, education, entertainment, media, sports, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, professional services, and other fields for the development and enhancement of business contacts and growth. The Women Entrepreneur Development Council is providing a platform to startups and SMEs, women entrepreneurs, to expand their business reach and commercialization of unique concepts and business ideas. The WEDC has been providing an opportunity for senior executives and women CEOs from large corporates, multinational companies, banking, finance, research, science and technology, education, media, legal and business consultancy firms to share their expertise, experience, and knowledge for the development of leadership qualities among women entrepreneurs, especially from the SME and startups. The Women Entrepreneur Development Council is initiated by Mr. Chandrakant Salunke, founder and president, SME Chamber of India, SME Export Promotion Council, Federation of Indian SME Associations, and Startup Council of India, as well as SME Business Management Institute, and who has been putting efforts for business growth and expansion, as well as he has been at the forefront for policy changes and policy implementation. Mr. Salunke has been constantly organizing various business activities for networking, connectivity, imparting knowledge, business growth and expansion, channelizing finance and investment for manufacturing and service sector industries. So today we have an expert panel of women sitting over here, decorating the dais. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. Entrepreneurial journey for women is not something new, especially when it comes to the Indian ecosystem, if I may say that. Since ages, we have seen women at the forefront, whether it's running the family, managing the finances at the family level, or managing small industries that they used to set up earlier. Like we would have heard a lot about people getting into having a small restaurant. Then they were making homemade edibles, homemade spices, homemade pickles and everything. And this started way, way, way ahead, where women entrepreneurship was not even coined, if I may say that. So we had come a long way when it comes to taking up charge and being the co-responsible person for running things. If you look at today's scenario, women entrepreneurs, especially in the age group of 25 to 30, are about 58%. And currently we have around 196,000 registered women entrepreneurs emerging as we speak and overshadowing the men. So we will start with the first question to Dr. Deepthi. Okay, right. So, okay. So I would, can I start with you, Ms. Meera? Mrs. Meera. Yeah? Okay. Why do you think our women-led ventures secure less investments deal compared to male founders?
Okay, so I'll take 1 minute to explain what I do so that when I say something, you can put it in the perspective of where my views or thoughts come from, right? So I work with an investment firm called Shelter Tech, which is a shelter venture fund, which invests in startups. It's an impact fund, which means it looks for not just financial return, but also some impact, mainly in providing homes to low-income people. So this is in the affordable housing sector. So it's a bit of a niche sector, right? So some of these may be a little influenced from what happens in that sector, Well, I've also worked as a consultant, and I had my own firm advising startups and investors in fundraising, particularly in the very early stage. So, some of those come from that context. It is valid, and it's a factual point that women-led ventures secure less money than men-led ventures. And because I'm an investor, I have to say it's not because of something that investors are doing. It is just, there is never an investor who says, oh, I love everything about the company. They are in a great segment which is growing. There is a great business model, wonderful team, great track record. It's just that there are women who are founders or women who are management professionals. That never happens in any investment committee meeting. It's usually the other way, where investors worry about all men ventures, all men startups, because the dynamics and the power play and the emotional a lot of factors are worrisome in men-led, and I have seen many co-founder fights and lots of issues in that, right? So as an investor, it's not my thing that we really go look for women as founders and women in key management positions and whatnot. But this is the fact, right, that women-led ventures are not getting. One reason that I have seen, actually there are two reasons. The number one is women typically are not in ventures that are in growth segments, right? Like, so if you look at, for example, in housing, the more growth-focused ones would be like 3D printing, that sort of, automation, robotics in construction. I don't see women there, right? Like, women are in slightly more conservative, traditional, which have good growth, good impact, but which does not excite investors to say, I'm going to get my 10x, 100x, right? So why women are kind of not there is a question. I'll keep that separate. So that's one reason, right? Again, the other reason is women are good managers, they are good administrators, operationally they are great, they are empathetic. I mean, but when it comes to a lot of finances, women, just don't pay attention, right? Like, for whatever reason. They are like, oh, I don't do numbers, or I'm not comfortable with the numbers, right? Which sometimes is not the best track to take with an investor, because we have a deal, right? Like, here is the money, where is the return, right? And if you say, well, I don't know numbers, or I'm not comfortable talking numbers, it's just a little not comforting. So those may be the kind of two reasons that I have come across.
Okay, well said. Your take on the illusions that revolve around female-led ventures when it comes to investments.
Right. So this fact that women are not comfortable in money matters, in that, so when people ask for on-the-ground numbers, right, like, what's your inventory stock, or, right, a lot of these accounting terms and whatnot, women don't say that. And in many cases they do, but then that's one illusion people have, is that, like, women are not comfortable with money, right? So that is one illusion that does have. And the other is that women don't stick it out, right? Like, you see in the IT sector and whatnot, many start off, but then there is a lot of attrition that happens due to a lot of family and other circumstances. So some feel that, well, I fund, or, I give the money, women may decide to prioritize their family over the business, and hence, there is the risk that women may not continue running the business, right? Which is not true, right? Like, women are, even in microfinance, in all these worlds, women are more responsible with the money, and when they have taken some investment, they stick through. But this is another illusion that goes around. Yeah.
Right, okay. If I may say this personally, I think that we have managed multitasking much, much better. We know the numbers much, much better. We remember numbers much, much better than, I'm not drawing a comparison here, but I feel that, you wake up a woman in the middle of the night and ask them, so what do you think should be the budget for next month? they would have the numbers with them. So I'm sure that if we can do it at home, we are definitely doing it. And the panelist sitting over here is a classic example of where we have come and how far we have come, and each and every one of you's experience. Thank you so much. I have a question for Jayanti Giridharan. Yeah. What do you think are any women entrepreneur should know when she gets into business, especially on the financial aspect? So both are financial, yeah. Jayanti Giridharan, yeah.
If I put your question, ma'am, can we have your short introduction?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
I'm Jayanti Giridharan. I started working very early, right from 19 years I have been working, and last 17 years before stepping onto my own, I was with ICICI Bank. Not audible? Yeah.
A bit closer.
I was with ICICI Bank for about 17 years, one bank, and joined as a cashier, and I resigned as a deputy general manager of the bank. With all proud and pride, I can tell that in South, particularly, you take Axis Bank or S Bank or HDFC or ICICI. I used to tell this whenever I meet any new client, particularly. I was the first female DGM who got to this role from South, operating from South.
Okay.
And now coming to your question, and now after December 20, I started, stepped out of the bank and I'm on my own. I do fundraising for large corporates. Whatever I was doing inside the bank for helping the customers, throughput happens through the bank, I started doing it outside the bank. Okay. Now your question is how females manage finance when they are on their own, correct? You gave the answer 2 minutes back. What we do at home, we do at office.
Right.
Simple. And I feel if not we, who else can? That's what I used to tell everyone. Particularly when I meet any female who is actually a little bit low, when they feel that, am I missing somewhere? Am I on track? I only tell them that if not you, who else can? You have done wonders at home. Whatever our grandmas and we have done in the different avatar, if we decide we have to do something differently, I think we can do wonders. I can give some 2-3 small examples, okay, so that we can relate how these people grow. Okay. One is actually, I'm sure many of you might have known about this character. If somebody who is not aware, probably I'll tell. There is a female by name Hemalata Annamalai, hailing from Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore. She was in the top of her career. Okay, she was doing very well in Wipro, and she comes from a very, very humble family background. After doing very well in Wipro, she stepped out of Wipro at a very young age of 27, 30 years. She stepped out, and she wanted to do something on her own. And I think while she was contemplating, she was thinking that why can't I do something different? What women first they should do is don't look at the cluttered space. Look at something which is very, very unique, where there can't be any competition, because as women you are different. So you identify something which is actually very, very unique, so that you grab where there is a larger white space. You can occupy that space very, very easily. Okay, she thought about it, and she decided whom to approach. She just simply wrote a mail to Ratan Tata ji. So she did not take a step-by-step approach. She decided that this is what I want to do. She drafted a beautiful mail to Ratan Tata ji. Ratan Tata, I assume, okay, probably may get 10,000 or 20,000 emails per day. But this email of hers grabbed his attention, because she started the caption, what she has written in that email. I happened to meet her also, okay. And the caption, what she has written in that email was, if China can do in 2000, 32,000 vehicles, and in 2015 they can move to 32 million electric vehicles, why not India? That was the caption of that letter. This grabbed the attention of Mr. Ratan Tata ji. And she has written that what she is thinking about it, how she can take it to the next step, everything. So Mr. Tata decided to meet her in her place. He came to Coimbatore, met her, understood her process, how she thinks that this can actually make it very big. And it was he who gave the initial seed funding of 5 crore. So that was really, really a big amount. And today Ampere Electric Vehicles is the leading person in the particular space. She is having around 70 to 100 employees today, and she is also now she has upgraded the vehicle and made it to available even for differently abled person.
Wonderful.
So it is not about stopping at one step. It is about how we reinvent ourselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is the way what we have to do when we are actually doing it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, in between, I'm going to bring in a bit of perspective from Dr. Deepthi, if I may. Yeah. So, we've been discussing a lot about what the perspectives of people are and what is that women have to do, when it comes to thinking new, creating new. What are all the things that are available for them, like when it comes to funding and financing and investments and all. More from a emotional perspective, emotional intelligence adds a new paradigm in business to women entrepreneurs. How would you decipher the statement, and what is your take on it?
Hello everyone. First I would like to give a short introduction of myself. My name is Dr. Deepthi Patil. I'm a doctor also and doctorate also. I've done my medical graduation, then I did my post-graduation in clinical psychology, and I have done PhD in behavior modification, also MBA in human resource management. And emotional intelligence is my core subject where I keep on working. And now coming towards your question is like definitely I feel if you are emotionally intelligent, definitely the organization is going to be at a very different level. And when it comes to the women entrepreneurs, the research says that women are emotionally more intelligent when the research was done. So we found always these women are more emotionally intelligent, because emotional intelligence is something, is a skill which can be, achieved, which can be modified, which can be trained for the betterment of ourselves also and the organization also. And I feel like every organization, should have this training sessions in the organization to make the organization emotionally more intelligent. And specifically, I would like to add into this is like if all the chiefs, all the directors and CEOs and everybody who is working at the high top level management is emotionally intelligent, then it is definitely going to affect the whole organization. Because if you are emotionally intelligent, you can take your decision wisely at correct time with no wasting of time. Second thing is like when you're emotionally intelligent, you're a very good leader because you're a good listener. Whenever you're a good listener, 80% of the problems can be solved there itself. When the head is the good listener, definitely your employees will take that very positively, and whenever you are giving instructions to them, definitely they are going to be a good listener. So ultimately, when you are analyzing yourself, you are training yourself, you as a head are becoming emotionally intelligent, it is definitely going to affect the whole organization in a very positive way to make your employee very positive, and slowly this is going to affect them, and even they are going to become emotionally intelligent. And it is going to affect your business for more betterment, for more development. When you're going to talk to your clients in a very positive way, in a very polite way, in a very emotionally intelligent way, definitely this is going to get more business to the organization. And the last part is like the retention level, where sometimes unfortunately this happens when you are your intentions are good, your sometimes these tensions and everything, it affects the employees of the organization. Many times your body language, your postures, your gestures are negatively affecting your employees. So we should be very conscious when we are reacting to our employees. We should be very intelligent, we should be very smart and cautious, like that that unconscious competence level should be achieved, and which is I feel that emotional intelligence is a very crucial skill, but it can be achieved by practice and only practice. And for this, I can give you one example here, like all stalwarts are sitting from different industry sectors and everyone. So just remember the very first day of your driving school, driving class. So it was so difficult, no? Like operate the clutch, put the gear, same time you have to leave the clutch, same time you have to, like operate the accelerator also. So there are three things which you need to operate with only two legs. And the first question in the mind comes, oh my God, it's so difficult, three things to operate. But when you achieve this skill, when you master on this competency level, so when you become competent, it's so easy. The driving is like, it happens unconsciously. And now if you think, now you're so competent that you're driving, same time you're receiving your phone calls, same time you're talking to everyone who is there in the car, and you're doing so many things because driving is happening just unconsciously. So I feel emotional intelligence is also same. It happens unconsciously. This competency level can be achieved in such a way that you don't have to think and behave. It will happen automatically from inside if you practice it. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to connect this, especially you mentioned about being a good listener, being very cautious about your body language and gestures and postures and all. And I'm going to connect it to one who is into marketing, because that is something that they are always conscious about, if I'm not wrong, right? So when it comes to marketing, it is more about, you have to be a good listener, you have to have the right posture, the right body language, the smile on your face, which you seem to be having a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question to you is, what are the challenges that women overcome then and today to create an identity in the tech world?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm Chitra Raghavan. Actually, I'm sitting in this place because of my husband and my sons. Actually, my husband is the proprietor of our company. We run two entities. Like one is Chirag Enterprises and the other one is Opali Scientific, where Opali Scientific sells all the pharma equipments. We are registered vendors of Cipla, Maladi, Bafna Pharmaceuticals, Maithili Life Sciences, and we have a number to go. And Chirag Enterprises is into distribution of various products inside and in and around Mylapore, Mandavali, and we go up to ECR. So we have different distribution of products, and we have some 5 employees with us. We have 5 vehicles where we supply all these items. So this is about myself. So before coming here, my husband asked, I'm the proprietor, but I was not called, you are called. And you're going to give a speech. You're going to be in the panel list. I said, it's all because of you and both my sons. My son actually guides me very well because he's a postgraduate diploma in management from the EDI Institute, Ahmedabad. He has done his postgraduate in entrepreneurship. So wherever I lag, he is the one who supports me. So this is a very wonderful question. What are the challenges that women overcome then and today to create an identity in the tech world? First, I would say earlier, if you would have asked me, being a woman itself was a challenge. But now, I think we are the masters in everything. So I agree mostly to Deepthi, Dr. Deepthi. See, wherever I go, I should have the confidence to talk before the customer. Basically, I was into teaching, 25 years of teaching chemistry. I was an analytical chemist. And then I came into business. So when I go and approach people, I would have some little fear because I don't know much about the technical part of the equipments where I supply. We also do the calibration, which is something completely engineering, from analytical chemist to engineering. So I learned a lot. I Google myself very much because I should have the confidence. When I'm going for marketing and sales, I should have the confidence to talk with the customer. What should I talk to them? How should I make them understand? With a smile, with a listening capacity. So I learned slowly, like driving a car.
Okay.
And so when I go back to in time, women had many restrictions. See, like they cannot roam around. They have to look after family, children. So I think I was blessed. I drive my own car. Wherever I want, I will go myself alone. I don't expect anybody to come with me. So I go, I face everything. I'll talk with people. I'll create my own target. This is my target. This company, I'm going to get myself registered. So I'll behave that way.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. Now, shifting from marketing to a niche segment, even from my understanding, though there are a lot of women who are doing wonders in that, logistics is one such segment which is considered niche. At the same time, I think of late there have been a lot of improvement when it comes to women participating in that segment, logistics and supply chain and all. So the question next is to Jayashree. Is logistics and shipping a male-dominated industry? And why is it important to have women in the supply chain?
Thank you, Vijay. Good afternoon. Thank you for the organizers for having me here. It's wonderful to be here among these wonderful ladies and the excellent audience. Just before I could answer the question, as she said, I belong to $250 billion industry, and which is going to grow up to 380 in 2025. I just want to give these numbers because you understand the size of industry where I come from. And if you look at the employment, there are 33 million people who are employed in this logistics and supply chain industry. And as the previous speaker in the morning spoke from Gati, it's a sunshine industry. There is never an end to the logistics and supply chain industry. And I hope each one of you would agree for it. And coming to the percentage of women in this industry, in 2010, we had 8% of the entire working population which were women. And in 2020, we are somewhere around 20%, and which is to say there's a lot more scope into this industry. So these are the numbers before we start with. And the question Vijay was asking me is this a male-dominated industry? I would definitely say no. Because if it was a male-dominated industry, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be the supply chain head of India operations for DHL. So before I started my entrepreneurship journey, I was working with DHL Global Forwarding, and I'm sure all of us would have heard about DHL, the world's largest freight forwarding organization. And I was blessed and I had the privilege of working with them for 18 plus years. And I started as a customer service executive. And when I quit DHL in the year 2014, I was heading the supply chain division for their operations for India. If it is a male-dominated industry, I'm sure I wouldn't have got this opportunity. But what I would say is, yes, it is predominantly who are males in this industry. Very less percentage of women in this industry. The basic reason is, one is lack of awareness. How many of you here in the audience would have thought of logistics as a career for yourself or your children? If anyone can, if you can raise your hands, I would be happy. 1, 2, 3. No 2 hands, only 1 hand. So maybe we are 50 of us here or 60 of us here. Hardly 2 or 3 people, and I'm sure they are from the industry. Or if not, somewhere their cousin or father or someone would have been working in this industry. So logistics was never been a career of choice for the parents and for the students. It is a very difficult acceptance, but it is the fact. But this is one industry without which the economy or the supply chain will disrupt. During the entire COVID situation, we were all struggling for our day-to-day usage of FMCG products, medicines. The guys who bring it to your doorsteps are none other than the logisticians and the supply chain professionals. So coming back, it is not a male-dominated industry. It is an industry where female are most welcome, and I am one live example sitting in front of you was able to climb up the cadre of the supply chain head of a country, I mean, which is not a small growth. And definitely men were there along with me competing for the same position, right? So why women are more looked forward in the supply chain industry is women can, most of us answered those questions here. We are multitasking people. We are multitaskers. And logistics industry per se or supply chain is labor intensive, which is people oriented industry. 33 million people are working and 1.1 crore people are more required. So it is the people, whatever artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, whatever comes into, the human control cannot be replaced. So it is a people-centric industry, and women have the quality of multitasking because there is someone called the end customer here. The end customer is you, me, and others sitting here. And there is a raw material which is being produced. So it has to reach the end customer. So the entire process, you have customer service, you have documentation, you have finance, you have interpersonal relationship between departments. And because it is international logistics, you have to speak with people outside the country, within the country. So women are basically a multitasking people who are good in managing the relationship within departments and outside departments. So women are most welcome here. I would definitely want this stage to break the myth that women are most required in the logistics industry, and this industry is definitely not a male-dominated industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Right. So, hearing to all these women, the biggest question that we have now is, obviously the question goes to Jayanti Devarajan. What are the current situations in the post-pandemic, and what are your observations, particularly for the startup of new business?
I represent Startup Council of India, which is a sprout from the SME Chamber of India. And Startup Council of India, when we say there is 3 to 5% of contribution that startup contributes towards the economic growth. But if you take the SMEs, they contribute somewhere around 40 to 50% in the economic growth. But actually it is this 3 to 4% which eventually graduates to that 40 to 50% over a period of 5 to 7 years.
Right.
So if these people are, guided, mentored, or rather given the support at the initial stages, they could probably become SME, which can contribute to the 40-50% over a period of time. So that's where, in fact, when I was inducted, I was initially inducted at the SME Chamber of India, and I was passionate about startup ecosystem, and I was continuously going on debating with Mr. Chandrakant Salunke that we need to have a separate platform for startups. And over a period of time, he thought that she's not going to mend her ways, so let me create a platform and give it to her. And that's when he created a platform for Startup Council of India, and he gave it to me. And I'm so thankful to him for creating this platform, because from here is where the startups will graduate to the SMEs, and which is contributing to the 50% of the economy's growth. And when it comes to startup post-pandemic, I would say that a lot of startups have started only after pandemic, because a lot of people were losing jobs. Nevertheless, pandemic has actually created a lot of disruption in the market, but it has actually given more opportunities for many people to come up with their own ideas. And those ideas, if nurtured properly, can become a SME over a period of time. And I strongly believe in that idea. And I think I would not say that COVID has created a negative impact. As far as startup ecosystem is concerned, it has created a lot of opportunities. It has created a lot of jobs. And a lot of tech people, in fact, have resigned their jobs and started something on their own. And this is actually, we need to pat on their backs when it comes to the startup ecosystem is concerned, because there is a lot of changes which is happening in the economy. When it comes 10 years before, nobody has heard the term called startup. But today, even the tier 2, tier 3 cities are coming up with new ideas, and they're coming up with innovative solutions, and they're coming up with a lot of medical problems which can be resolved. In fact, a few days back, I met up with someone who has come up with a down south location, and he was giving a brilliant idea about a medical solution that we're all facing. So I think geography or anything is not a constraint at all in today's world, and startup is definitely an in thing in today's market. And if I have to compare the Chennai market with Bangalore market, we are just 5 hours drive away from Bangalore. But I see a different world altogether in Bangalore compared to Chennai, and I'm sure we will catch up with Bangalore very soon. And Bangalore being the startup capital, followed by Mumbai, Delhi, and other locations, I think the pandemic has only created a lot of opportunities amongst the startup ecosystem as far as the cities are concerned. And there is a lot of support which has also come from the government, I would say. In fact, with the budgets coming up with a lot of tax reliefs and a lot of government schemes, especially for women, and the Stand Up India scheme is encouraging a lot of people. There are unsecured debts which is being lent to the startups, which is only a positive sign I see.
Okay. So as part of the Startup Council, how do you support especially the women-led startups?
I think you are the standing testimonial for that. So Startup Council of India and SME Chamber of India has together floated this Women Entrepreneurship Development Cell. And this question actually you should answer this question rather than me.
So,
So you can highlight the support system that we offer to women-led entrepreneurs.
so I would say it's going to be a bouquet of services that we will have, from trying to identify startup ideas to mentoring, coaching, helping them set up, helping them, handhold them in the long run, so that they become one of those most successful entrepreneurs. And this is just to
add on to what you have been saying. So the moment we say SMEs, they're all seasoned business. They've been in the industry for about 7-10 years, and then they've graduated to that level, maybe doing a turnover of more than 5-10-15 crores. But when it comes to startups, and especially the women-led women entrepreneurs, what happens is people will come up with innovative, great ideas. But when they start, they will probably have a little bit of funding, and then they have a great idea, but they may not have the go-to-market strategy. They may not be aware of the legal and compliances. And at times, we may not be aware of how much of shares that I need to dilute when it comes to my investments, and what are all the legal and compliances that I need to follow, and what sort of advice that I need to take. Do I really need to validate my idea in the market? Do I need to go for a testing in the market? Or what sort of environmental threats that I will be coming up with? So those sort of ideas, if it gets validated at the initial stages, and those ideas can be validated by the industry experts, associations like this, where we get connected with a lot of industry experts and organizations which support these kind of entities, either in terms of financial support or in terms of knowledge transfer, or in terms of probably giving the expertise connect. So I think these are all the support system that we offer, which is more critical for any entrepreneur.
True. Thank you so much. Now, I'm just going to connect a part of what Meera had mentioned, that there is still an unsaid, belief or unsaid fact that when it comes to taking care of stuff, women has to drop everything at the drop of a hat and be there for the family. No, the trends are changing. Yeah, I'm standing here. I'm here the whole day. My son is appearing for his 12th standard board examinations, and my husband is there just to be there as a moral support. He's just taken the day off and being there at home so that I'm here to do what I find pleasure in doing. But in spite of all those things, there is always this, if you look at even organization, there is a lot of women participating when it comes to up to the middle level. But as they grow up the ladder, including big conglomerates, you see that the participation of women is not as per, while India, they say that it's around 19.25% of women are, no, sorry, it's 12% women who are there in top positions. And as a nation, the nation's view is to increase it to at least 1 in every 4. Now the question, the last question, if I may say that, is to Jayanti Giridharan. How can women navigate power structures?
Yeah, it is a very interesting question and my favorite subject also. I think we are our own strength. We need to be very clear. We need to be focused on what we want to achieve. See, Jayashree has taken a thing which generally people felt that it is male dominated.
Absolutely.
Okay, but it is all only if you are completely focused on what you want to be. I think nothing can stop. As you rightly said, in corporates, beyond certain level, we don't find female leaders. Yes, it was. And now I'm not telling it is actually improved, but it is improving. But is there a reason why as a female should I also participate to grow up the ladder? 50-50 I will say. We have to be very vociferous and we have to talk. And we have to, clearly we need to identify our goal. You have your goal and do everything so that you reach the goal. Nothing can stop you. But normally what people tend to do is, particularly females, what we tend to do is, we shift the goal. Don't shift the goal. Change the path. Right. That is the right thing. Classic example I could say, recently I watched one movie, Gunjan Saxena. Okay, after seeing that movie, I thought, is she the first person who has actually done that? That was my thing. So I Googled it. Okay. And to my surprise, I found that there is a female who has done with a sari. And she is the first Indian woman pilot. Okay. And she has done Sarala Takral. That is her name. Okay. And she has done it in a family of 9 pilots. 9 male pilots. And her husband was the first Indian male pilot.
Oh.
So she was actually, what would have made her to think like that is, everyone is always flying, and she got married at a very young age. She got married when she was as low as 16 years old. 16-year kid getting married, and before 18 she had 2 children. And everyone is busy, why can't I do something? That would have made her to think that she was actually asking her father-in-law, and she joined that course, and she successfully even started flying with a sari only in the age of 1930s. Okay, so I will feel that it is all depends on in our hand only. What you want to achieve, be very clear, and if you want people to see you, I think you achieve something where people automatically see you. So as many females know, we think that okay, we are best only in this. No, we can do anything. Whatever a male can do, we can actually do everything. We are not second to none. If not you, who else can? That is what we have to ask very seriously.
Thank you so much. Yes, there had been a lot of such things where women, we have seen women mounted on a horse fighting for the nation. I mean, this doesn't come new to us, I think. So, it was a wonderful discussion, thought-provoking, and I'm sure that all of us will agree that it gives us a renewed strength as to where we as women has to march forward, and the world is still a big place to live. So there are ample opportunities, and I think people like us has to like us, not just us. People like us have to be the one who are guiding entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, to succeed. We are now open for questions.
My question is for Dr. Patil. Sorry. You were mentioning about emotional intelligence. Can you refer that or explain it a little more better? The emotional intelligence.
I didn't get your question, sir. Please, could you?
You were mentioning while you were talking
Yes.
about emotional intelligence
Yes, sir.
for making decisions.
Yes, sir.
So can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, sure. What I feel is like when you are emotionally stable, emotionally more intelligent, when you are, what is emotional intelligence? For that you need to understand first of all. When you are emotionally intelligent, you analyze yourself when you analyze yourself, you know you can map your competency level. When you map your competency level, when you train your competency level, you achieve a certain stage. And when you understand yourself very nicely, at a very good level, you can, take good decision, proper decision, correct decision with no time wasting. And this is going, and when you are emotionally intelligent, you can, feel empathy for others, what others will feel in certain situation. So this will become more easier for you to take decision. That decision won't be only what you feel, but that decision will be depending upon all the circumstances where you are standing. Will it will refer to all the things. You will not take a certain decision in certain time. It will analyze all the factors which should be considered, and then only that decision will be taken. So I feel that emotional intelligent person will definitely take wise decision, correct decision, and without wasting time. And this is the competence where as I said, emotional intelligence is such a beautiful thing which can be modified, which can be trained in a very positive way for the betterment of the organization.
We can say that, how emotionally you are doing anchoring from morning without wasting time. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So my question to all the panelists, what is the observation about, particularly not a gender bias, but the man, the person from your family or, friend circle become a fail in their business? What is the what is the lacking? Business management, or financial management, marketing management, or any other lacking in their business? Yes. Why the man is failing in their business?
If I may answer that question, the question was, what do you see in other businesses which have failed?
Particularly led by the men, male.
I think
See, I think you are not understand. See, when I reach my home, so my daughter looking at me, looking at my mood, whether I am happy or sad or intention. So according to I talk a different way. If I am in office, Sakshi Kurkalni or Dipti Patil or my other colleagues will look at me that I am intense. So particularly the management ecosystem or a skill is better than a man to female there, as per my judgment. So you can understand very well. So I want to hear from you, because we are running this council, and I would like to know more about, because you also spend a lot of time in different sectors. So how we will support the male also, those are failing in their business? What is your observations?
So I have, I do.
It's your advice to all the males sitting here
Yes,
also.
yes, very much. I'm really happy to be doing that. I mentor a lot of startups, which are, young businesses, and as they progress also, I continue to mentor them, right? So not just very early age. And many of them, just by probability, are men. And what I find when mentoring men or, working with them in their business is they are too dogmatic, right? Like, and if you tell them, this is not going well, these are the signs I'm seeing, take a look back, go back to the drawing board, change something, they don't want to hear that, they don't want to follow through, because they are so sure, right? Which is a good thing, right? Like, you have to be sure, you kind of have to shoot in the dark to be an entrepreneur. That courage is needed to be, to go on uncharted waters, but that goes too far, right? And that you give them all these signs of, this is not good, this is happening, we expected this is not happening, they don't hear that. So that to me is like, how do I get this into you that this is not working, we need to pause, right? That has been my problem, yeah.
Yeah, actually, myself and my husband are working together. Okay, I have faced a lot of problems. No. Definitely, it's women only. Okay, so we take very, very better decisions. As she said, when you are emotionally intelligent. No, everything is in his name, but I'm the marketing and I'm the salesperson. He looks after the procurement. I only have everything, bank accounts, everything in my hand only. That means it's mine only, no? So when it comes to business, we are doing a lot of pharma equipments, I told you. So we get the purchase orders, immediately we need to arrange the money. And if I get 4 or 5 purchase orders on a single day, hey, how will you manage? How are you going to manage? Where is the money? I said, please be cool. Let us sort out everything. If I'm not there for a day, if I'm going out for sales, I get umpteen number of calls. See, this purchase order has come, this purchase, how are you going to manage? So I think they are not that much cool enough like us to think how to manage the situation. See, even we cook for 5 people at home. But if 10 people come also, we will manage to do the cooking, to supply them. The same thing is happening in the business, I feel.
Excuse me, madam, I have a question. Madam said about Entrepreneurship Development Institute at Ahmedabad. I was visiting faculty there. We have got an EDA Tamil Nadu also. But my question is, why there is no separate bank for promoting entrepreneurship development? So I request Salanke Saab, who is heading this SME chamber, to talk to the concerned people in the ministry so that at least in the next budget they start a separate bank with focus also on women entrepreneurship. And second thing, they cancelled that there was a scheme in IDBI when I was working there, the Mahila Udyam Nidhi scheme. It is no longer there. There is no separate equity fund for women entrepreneurs. And the Bharatiya Mahila Bank, which was started by our Honorable Finance Minister, it has also been wound up, merged with State Bank of India. So these developments, they feel that there is no focus on women entrepreneurship from the side of government. These issues have to be taken up.
There was a woman bank set up by the government, but it is merged with the SBI.
I beg to differ with you, sir, here. Because SBI has got a separate fund which focuses more on women entrepreneurs, and they give only for women entrepreneurs. And similarly, even Indian Bank has got a scheme which is exclusively for women entrepreneurs. So it's just that it is not being promoted much probably, or maybe there is no awareness in the market.
No,
Okay,
so
now
over
my
there,
question-
I just want to bring up this Bharatiya Mahila Bank, which is my favorite topic. It does matter to women that there is a women's branch like a Bharatiya Mahila Bank, because I was following it from its having. Okay, we are this whatever big bank, SBI is like an ocean, right? And then you say there's this little scheme for women. Women are not aware. Even if you go, nothing is gonna happen, right? Because if you look at what has been the dispersal, you go into the numbers, it's all very poor. But the Bharatiya Mahila Bank was doing good work, and then it is very unfortunate that it went away. It is a big loss for women. We have to put that on record there, yeah.
But I suggest you, I don't know whether all of you are aware about it, but there are a lot of schemes. All the banks are having the women entrepreneur scheme. But
How
we
much
don't
is,
know.
what is the offtake of it? That is the important point. The Bharatiya Mahila Bank was dispersing good number of loans. Women were very comfortable approaching the Bharatiya Mahila Bank and doing it. There is that barrier that the other banks have, and that's why this bank was started.
Can I be frankly? The lady was running the bank. She has not listened to the men. Those are on the board.
So we have not concluded your...
My question is
yes,
still
it
remaining.
is still pending.
Because 4
I
people
thought
are-
I'll just answer that question from my perspective, sir. I think most of the men do not have a balanced approach, whereas women are more empathetic in nature and they have this emotional EQ and EI is balanced with women when it compares to men. So I think in that aspect, it leads to aggression and lot of attitude change with men. So I think women are more balanced in terms of their approach when it comes to the 360-degree management of business. I don't know how many men agree with me.
So there's a beautiful thing in NLP as well as emotional intelligence. It says never react, only respond. Unfortunately, most of us, including few women, are used to reacting rather than responding. I think that is where the emotional intelligence comes to play. And reacting is much, much bigger. The way in which, probably there was no stopping men when they were reacting. It was okay. Boys can do it. I think that is where the problem was. But nowadays, there are a lot of people who are going forward to take up EI classes, emotional intelligence, programs, intelligence that is required, more from understanding from the third party's perspective, listening to them, and then being assertive in such a way that we are on equal grounds, a fair ground.
Let's listen from Dr. Dipti.
Sir, I feel like if the organization's head is emotionally intelligent, that organization would see only success, because there are so many reasons. Research says that who is at a very high level on emotional intelligence is the lower level management. When this lower level management moves on to the middle level management, the emotional intelligence decreases. You can just Google and see. And when again you go to the higher level, again the emotional intelligence is going to decrease, and unfortunately it's very low in the very top level management and with and the head of the organization. Maybe the situation, maybe the decisions, maybe they're doing the business, they're ahead, but science and research says that if you are analyzing the emotional intelligence doesn't say that business should be done in an emotional way, but when you analyze yourself, when you analyze and then take the decision, at the same time you are more competent, and at the same time you can think of the surrounding also, and you'll be very successful at that time to manage the social relations also. And when you think from different perspective, at that time you will realize that the decision which was taken only from the single perspective was really not correct, or maybe this decision would have taken in some other way. So I feel emotional intelligence is a crucial skill which should be achieved. And to be very frank, I was working with education industry. It is such a crucial skill that this should be included right from playgroup nursery, which is essential. And unfortunately, we don't have any books till now which are actually added from this playgroup nursery level. And this is a skill which we need to teach at the corporate level also. Why? Because it was never taught when we were in the school age. So I feel like this is very important and a crucial skill which everybody should learn. As I said, the unconscious competence should be achieved in such a way that it should come, very naturally. And it is possible only after practice and practice.
Right. Any further questions?
Yeah. Hi. My name is Subramaniam. My question is to Meera Siva. See, we just wanted to know a little more about the venture funds actually. I run a company where we have developed a product which can convert petrol vehicles into electric hybrid vehicles, particularly for auto rickshaws. We have been seeing a lot of reception and huge saving for the auto rickshaw drivers to the tune of something like 7,000-8,000 rupees a month with this product. And we want to know, require your advice on what are the venture funds which can support this kind of initiatives. Can you please elaborate?
Okay. So the segment you are saying, right, the conversion of petrol vehicles to electric vehicles, particularly the auto rickshaw ones, is a little mature for some of the or most of the venture capital funds, right? So venture capitalists typically work when the segment is very new and there is a lot of uncertainty. Usually these are areas where the government has yet to take a regulatory or some kind of a stance, so it's a bit of a unclear playing ground for people, and we hope that there will be some regulation that will be favorable, that will make everyone convert and do some things which will boost the market, right? So you're taking somewhat, you're venturing into unknown domain, if you will, right? And you try to build some technology, another moat that others will take some time, and you also try to disrupt an existing player, right? There are so many petrol vehicle makers, big brands, big names, who would look to you and say, oh, I missed that, I should have done this, and then they will acquire you or look at you favorably, right? So these are the kind of themes venture capitalists look at. So from all those perspectives, this idea is little late at this stage for you, but the ones that will be interested are what are called the private equity firms, which tend to come a little later. They wait for all this venture capital dust to settle, and then they will do larger plays, right? They'll put in, well, the venture capitalists may put in 1 crore, 5 crore kind of numbers. The private equity guys put in 30 crore, 50 crore kind of money, because they see the market a lot more clearly, right? That yes, there is the government mandate. Yes, nobody is convinced on, okay, if I convert, will it work? How many kilometers? All these questions are not asked, right? The cost economics, everything is, you don't have to sell the concept, right? The concept sale has happened. So you should go to private equity firms, and there are so many of them right here in Chennai itself. For example, TVS Capital would be one somewhat obvious choice, right? Because TVS Group, there is a lot of strategic alignment and such, and there are People Capital, so many of them that are PE firms that you can approach rather than VCs, angels, that kind of guys, because this is a little late for them. Yeah, we can talk separately for tips.
All right. So thanks to each and every one of you. Oh, sorry.
I'm just curious to know, this question goes to Meera ma'am only. Ma'am, what is the percentage of files you get, funding files, or generally a VC gets funding files from women entrepreneurs to male entrepreneurs, and what is the rejection rate or approval rates for women and male in your experience? And I would like to congratulate the entire SME Chamber team for creating a women entrepreneurship development cell. I think it's a wonderful and fantastic initiative.
Thank you so much.
So unfortunately, I have a 100% rejection rate for women entrepreneur. It's not because, as I said even early on, is because we said, oh no, there's a woman, let's reject this, right? It's for just the common checklist that we have on what we will fund by, which is our mandate on what we look for, the stage the company is in, right? The profitability and other projections, the readiness of the market, and a whole lot of them. And I think it's not that, again, that it's rejected because there is a woman. Most of these people look for this, as I said, right? It's in some sector which is very interesting, and people are grabbed by it, right? And then those are the sectors I am personally not seeing a lot of women working on, right? To me, those are segments like automation and others, where are AI enabled, solutions which can improve a lot of, process and other things. I'm not seeing a lot of women founders, and hence, I'm kind of coming to that. There are a lot of women founders who are getting a lot of grants and other support, and they are doing quite well, but they have not come to venture funds like ours, and they are running their business, they are doing great, they are making good progress and all of that. Just they don't find, maybe they don't even find the venture idea somewhat attractive, right? Because there's a lot of nuisance that comes with venture money. Yeah. You're too
Thank you.
smart to ask for this money.
Any further questions?
How to choose a good women entrepreneur? Like how to validate if I want to join them in our organization. So a women entrepreneur we are interested in. So how to evaluate them? Like what are the qualities that is required for a woman entrepreneur?
Evaluate them for what?
You just need to be blind and take them.
No, as
You
a
don't need to worry about it.
co-founder or a colleague, co-directors like that.
So usually, sorry. So usually, whatever women or men, when you're evaluating for a director or a co-founder or any of that, you look for complementary skill sets, right? So that's a somewhat obvious thing, right? That if you are a tech person, getting one more tech person is not going to be an additionality. So you look for a marketing or sales, that kind, right? Or the other way about, right? So that is one complementarity that will add a lot of value. And then the other one, when we invest and we look for in the co-founders, is how they kind of get along, right? Like, how is their chemistry, right? Like, as in, is one very if one is very strategic and broad thinker, the other one has to be a bit more execution focused and like looking at the nitty-gritties, right? So that way also, that kind of, and giving each other that space, right? So if that's not there, then none of this is going to work out. And that applies to men, women, all that. And I think when it comes to entrepreneurship, in some ways there is no men or women, right? Like, everyone is just trying to get to the same goal of the business should do well, employees should be retained, and right, everybody is working on the same goals, right? It's just slightly different paths, which is fine. Yeah.
So I hope it answered your question, sir. Okay. So thanks everyone. Thanks to each and every one of you on the dais for your participation and your valuable inputs. I request Dr. Deepti Patil to thank them by handing over a bouquet to them. Ms. Jayanti Giridharan. Jayashri Balachandran. Meera Shiva. Chitra Raghavan.
Now I would like to felicitate Vijaya because we had given the opportunity and responsibility to her to lead the Tamil Nadu State Board, Women Entrepreneurs Development Council. Let us give a big hand to her. So now we are closing this conference, and I'm thankful to all the leading women entrepreneurs, particularly those who have given the insight to the develop or improve our capabilities and capacity, particularly for the men are sitting here. And mostly, when any particular woman entrepreneur is looking to involve any male entrepreneur, so what are the qualities to be defined? So you are aware about it. And similarly, the question asked by that gentleman, he said, what qualities we should look at the women entrepreneur or the co-partner to involve in a business. I can say the leadership qualities. The leadership qualities to take decision at such a time where you can survive, develop, and improve your capabilities. So with this word, I'm thankful to all of you. Thanks to all the women entrepreneurs, and a special thanks to all the participants here, and special thanks to my sponsors. And there are some booth is there. Please visit while going back to home. Thank you very much, and all the best. Good night.